At her lowest point, she had no money, no certainty, and no guarantees. What she did have was a story. That story made J.K. Rowling a global phenomenon. Before the world knew her name, Joanne Rowling was a struggling single mother living in Edinburgh, surviving on welfare benefits and writing wherever she could find warmth. Cafes became her office. A notebook became her lifeline. She once said that she was as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. Her marriage had failed, her mother had died, and the future felt painfully uncertain. Yet in the middle of that darkness, she kept writing. Joanne Rowling was born on July 31, 1965, in Yate, England. From childhood, she loved books and stories. She began writing at a young age, often creating tales to entertain her younger sister. She knew early on that she wanted to be a writer, even when that dream felt unrealistic or impractical. She studied French and classics at the University of Exeter, where her exposure to mythology and ancient literature quietly shaped the imagination she would later unleash on the world. In 1990, her life changed on a delayed train from Manchester to London. With no pen and no paper, an idea came to her fully formed. A boy who did not know he was a wizard. A hidden world running parallel to our own. A school where magic was taught and friendship mattered. She later said that the entire concept of Harry Potter arrived in her mind during that journey. She did not write it down that day, but the story refused to leave her. Soon after, tragedy struck. Her mother died after a long illness. Rowling has spoken openly about how deeply this loss affected her. She later said that much of the emotional depth in the Harry Potter books, especially the theme of death, came from that grief. Writing became harder, but also more necessary. Seeking a change, she moved to Portugal to teach English. There she married and had a daughter, Jessica. But the marriage ended, and with a baby in her arms and very little money, she returned to the United Kingdom. She settled in Edinburgh, where she faced the most difficult period of her life. She was unemployed, depressed, and struggling to survive. In a later interview, she said that failure had stripped away everything unessential and forced her to focus on what truly mattered. She wrote while her daughter slept. She wrote in cafes because she could not afford to heat her flat. She wrote even when rejection letters piled up. Publisher after publisher turned her down. Some said the book was too long. Others said children would not read stories about wizards. Still, she kept sending the manuscript out, believing that the story deserved a chance. Finally, in 1996, Bloomsbury, a small British publisher, agreed to publish the book. The decision was influenced by the publisher's young daughter, who loved the first chapter and asked for more. Rowling was advised to get a day job, because children's books rarely made money. She accepted the deal anyway. She had nothing to lose. In 1997, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was released. The response was immediate and powerful. Children loved it. Teachers recommended it. Parents started reading it themselves. Word spread quickly. Soon, the book was winning awards and topping bestseller lists. The sequels followed, each one bigger than the last. Over the next decade, 7 Harry Potter books were published, selling hundreds of millions of copies worldwide. The series was translated into dozens of languages and adapted into blockbuster films. What began as a story written in poverty became a global cultural phenomenon. J.K. Rowling went from living on benefits to becoming one of the most successful authors in history, but success did not erase the past. Rowling has often said that her early struggles shaped her values and her writing. Themes of courage, friendship, injustice, and resilience run through her books because they ran through her life. Characters like Harry, who feels unwanted and lost, reflect emotions she understood deeply. The idea that love is the most powerful magic of all came from lived experience, not fantasy. After finishing the Harry Potter series, Rowling continued to write. She explored adult fiction and crime novels, sometimes under a pen name. She dedicated time and resources to philanthropy, founding the charity Lumos to support vulnerable children around the world. She has spoken openly about failure, saying that it taught her things success never could. Her story is not just about fame or wealth. It is about persistence when quitting feels easier. It is about believing in one story when the world keeps saying no. It is about turning pain into purpose. J.K. Rowling did not succeed because life was kind to her. She succeeded because she refused to let hardship silence her voice. At her lowest point, she chose to write. And by doing so, she changed her life. and the lives of millions of readers, forever. If this story moved you, stay with us. Follow for more real stories of struggle, resilience, and success that prove even the darkest chapters can lead to something extraordinary.